Happy Monday, happy full moon Monday evening. For today's class, which is aligned to the full moon's yin energy, we will be practicing slow flow for introspection and deep listening. Yin, restorative, and we'll end with 10 minutes of guided meditation after Shavasana. So you'll want to have as many props as you have around you accessible, especially for the yin and restorative part. Let's begin in a comfortable seat. Take a moment to settle, and sometimes it helps to just scan your environment as long as there's nothing stressful about your environment, like that causes you to go into your to-do list. Just with the eyes sort of settling into this present space where you're beginning your yoga practice. And then perhaps close the eyes when you're ready. I'll say to you, and feel into your body. It may help to shift it around and just acquaint yourself with any sensations that are here right now. Feel into the surface that you are sitting on. Let your body anchor into that surface. As you feel your pelvis more balanced, feel your shoulders balance above your head. And then invite in a deeper breath, especially creating space between your shoulders and your pelvis. Let out a sound, any releasing sound. Let's take a few more. Taking a deeper breath in, ground to your pelvis, fill up all the way up to your shoulders. And sound it out. Again, breathing in, slowing down your breath. Any sound that needs to come out, let it flow through your mouth. Invite you to place your left hand at the center of your chest and place your right hand just below your belly button. Feel the warmth of your palms against your torso. Start to build warmth through the breath as we close the lips. Exhaling this breath completely. Then hold it out. Slowly breathe in a count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold it in for 4. 3, 2, 1. Out through the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out for 4. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try a couple more cycles of this Samavriti pranayama. Box. As you feel ready, ease into a gentle sound, a whisper, as you continue to breathe through your nose. So I found a wonderful article on using the full moon as a metaphor to ourselves in the Chopra website. The monthly display of the moon is an extraordinary reminder of the ways that the sensory organs can deceive the mind. Looking at a new or quarter moon, for example, could lead to a belief that part of the moon has disappeared. Yet even the full moon has the dark side behind it, the parts that we can't see, but it's always full. According to tantric philosophy, every aspect of reality is perfectly whole, even when it might appear otherwise. There's always a yin, the softer side, or the cooler side, and the yang, the more active side, to everything. Suffering occurs when a being identifies with some limited aspect of him or herself and forgets that everything that you could possibly be, do, or want or have is already within you, in your innate fullness. So, for example, we might deem ourselves inadequate, less than whole, or unworthy of acceptance or love when we experience sort of shadow or dark qualities like loneliness, sadness, guilt, hurt, shame, or other emotions. Or we might judge ourselves as only being whole and worthy of acceptance and love when we demonstrate strength, achievement, beauty, or good ethics, the so-called brighter qualities. If you can imagine that you too are like the moon, perfectly whole in every way, and that the parts that feel empty or non-existent are simply hidden in the shadows, perhaps you would connect to a deep sense of inner peace and love for yourself that you never thought possible. There's a Sanskrit word, purnata, and it represents a sense of all-encompassing wholeness or divine perfection that is within all beings. So here's an inquiry for today's yoga practice. How might we embrace the wholeness or purnata of who we innately are, not turning away from our so-called shadows or dark sides, but acknowledging them with an open heart and mind? Sitting here as you continue to breathe in, breathe out, a soft whispering sound to your nose. Let's take a look at our legs. And if you are sitting cross-legged, I invite you to switch the other leg forward or on top. Place your left fingertips to the floor beside your hip and raise your right arm as I'm mirroring you, rotating the upper side of your upper right arm forward to help across the shoulders as you sit a little taller. Breathe in. Then exhale a little bit, lean over to your left side. Pause here as you breathe in and ground especially the right side of your pelvis, that counter side. And as you breathe out, see if you might lean to your left a little bit more. Taking that exploration and this lateral extension of your spine. A few more breaths. Now on your next exhalation, let your belly slightly contract as you rise up and backstroke your right hand behind your pelvis. Raise your left arm. Sit a little taller as you relax the shoulders. Breathe in. Then as you breathe out, begin to rotate your rib cage like the earth spinning on the axis of your spine. And then crossing your left hand to wherever you can reach onto your legs, perhaps the outside of your right thigh. Soften your shoulders, lift up through your crown. Breathing out, continue to twist just across your waistline, keeping your pelvis still. Feel the fullness of this breath. And as you breathe out, unwind your spine. And let's place the right fingertips on the floor beside your hip. Raising your left arm, rotate the triceps slightly forward. Press the shoulders and hips down as you lengthen through your spine, breathing in. And then exhale, side bend little by little to your right. Feel the weight of your left sitting bone counterbalancing as you reach further to your right. Relax both of your shoulders down. Offer space throughout your neck. Take another deep inhalation, and as you breathe out, hug your belly inward, rise up. Backstroke your left hand to the floor behind your pelvis, raise your right arm, get a little taller as you inhale, and just at your waist, rotate your rib cage towards your left side. Breathing out. Then reach your right hand as far as it can go towards the outside of your left thigh. Feel your shoulder blades release down as you lift up through the back of your skull. Take one last deep inhalation here. And as you breathe out, unwind from the twist. So let's come on down to all fours, and you may want to have a block on the outsides at the top of your mat. Starting on hands and knees, we'll start in cat-cow, we'll get progressively more organic. So on an inhale, glide your chest forward before coiling it up, looking towards the full moon. And as you exhale, round your back by contracting your abdomen, looking down towards the earth. Inhale, lengthen your spine, then broaden your heart up towards the sky. Exhale, contract your belly, doming your back. And then now, perhaps you continue to a longer range of cat-cow, sinking your hips towards your heels as you breathe out into child's pose. And then gliding forward again to coil your chest up as you breathe in. Or perhaps you choose to move laterally, swiveling your hips to the left or to the right and circling like a full moon. Hear your breath guide the pace of your body's movement. And maybe don't even plan it. Just feel into what the moment leads your body into. Turning your head, feeling your toes, exploring all ends of your body for several more breaths. How does it need or want to move? In about 3 more breaths, let's meet in downward facing dog. Arriving there, you might want to add a little more organic movement before you settle in to be still. Pedaling your feet, warming up the backs of your legs. Or swiveling your hips as you do that, lengthening more into your side waist, lower back. Or gently moving your skull and feeling the freedom in your neck. Perhaps even lifting a leg up high if you feel ready for that, and circling the leg at the hip. Feel the fluid quality of your breath. Invite fluidity in your body. Start to find stillness in downward facing dog. See that your wrists are your shoulders width apart, your index fingers are pointing forward, parallel to each other, thumbs are wide and flat. Bend your knees a lot and lift your hips as far up and back away from your hands as you can. Let your head fall. And as you continue to lift your hips with your knees bent, spiral your triceps, outer upper arms towards the ground. Let your head hang loose. Steady your gaze halfway towards your feet onto your mat. And then now firm in your belly while pressing your chest back towards your shins. Keep the height of your hips. Now begin to press the very front of your thighs further back. Let your heels become heavier and heavier. It's okay if they don't touch the mat, and you can keep your knees as bent as needed to truly find the fullest length of your spine. We're here for 3 more breaths. Parallel feet, hips width or wider apart. Feel your outer ankles as though they're hugging your midline without actually moving them. More of an internal action. As your inner thighs slightly press the wall behind you. Begin to walk your hands back towards your feet, folding over your legs with very bent knees, reaching your hands behind your lower back to interlace your fingers. With knees bent, shift more weight towards the balls of your feet. And inhale, lift your chest, gaze forward, hug your bent elbows closer together. Keep them bent as you exhale to bow again, stretching your arms forward away from your lower back. Let your head hang loose, perhaps even shake or nod it gently. Lifting your shoulder bones away from your ears. Begin to straighten your right leg, lean towards your right leg. Bend your right knee a lot and straighten your left leg, lean towards your left leg. Perhaps switch the interlacing of your fingers. And as you release the arms, bend both knees, hang loose from torso, arms, and head, but firm down with bent knees through your feet. Begin to roll up as you inhale, stacking one vertebra at a time and lifting your head last. Perhaps even shrug your shoulders as you lift the skull and rotate your shoulders back and down as you exhale. Let's come up to the top of your mat and we'll slow flow through a variation of a moon salutation. Separate your feet hips width apart. Look down and see that your second toes are parallel to each other. And then spread your toes, spread your weight through the 4 corners of each foot on the ground. As you press down into the earth, inhale, raise your arms overhead, bringing your fingers to interlace except the index. Pointing towards the sky, draw the shoulders down. Keep breathing as you stand tall. Imagine your tailbone anchoring towards the ground between your heels. Front ribs hugging in towards your back. Shoulders relaxing down. Take another in-breath. And as you exhale, begin a side bend to your left while rooting your right foot deeper into the floor. On your next inhale, rise up back to center. And exhale, side bend to your right, rooting your left foot deeper into the floor. Arise again to center, bend your knees, and join your hands together as you bow forward, all the way down. Your belly rests on your thighs as your knees are bent. A lot of support for your lower back here as you tilt your weight forward. Then begin to sweep your arms forward, raising the palms up overhead as you just lean forward. You're not coming into chair. It's more of a passive chair. Your belly's resting on your thighs. Breathe in here. And then exhale, fold again. Lower your hands on your blocks or the ground to help you step your left knee behind you, coming into a kneeling lunge. Untuck your left toes. Separate your legs, your hips distance, and then firm down through the 4 corners of your right foot so that you can circle your arms like a full moon, letting your palms meet to touch overhead in Anjaneyasana. Let's breathe here, drawing your tailbone down and slightly forward towards the earth, lifting your frontal hip bones up, your back ribs up, creating space in your torso. And relaxing your shoulders down while lifting your heart, perhaps gazing up. Take a deep breath in. Now as you exhale, circle your hands down to the floor, entering hands and knees. A modified plank pose. Knees directly under hips, wrists directly under shoulders, gazing on the ground ahead of you. Lengthen the space between your sternum, the middle of your chest, and your navel. Take a deep breath in. Let your feet come together to touch as you exhale into child's pose, sinking your pelvis all the way down to your feet. Resting your forehead towards the ground. Take a couple of breaths here. Feel your heart center melt towards Mother Earth. Now walking your hands back to the outsides of your knees. Separate your shins parallel and come to stand on your knees, circling your arms again like the full moon. Let your palms meet overhead in salutation. Take a couple of breaths here and feel the full length of your spine as your shoulders relax down. Deep inhale. Exhale, we come back to child's pose. So sink your pelvis down to your feet. Let the feet come together. Slide your arms forward, bowing in reverence. So the energy of the moon is that of yin, cooling, passive, entering stillness and introspection, calming, rest. Quite the opposite of yang, which is activity and heat. Glide forward, come back to hands and knees. Take a couple of breaths, lengthening from sternum to navel, crown to tailbone. On your exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Steady your gaze on the ground towards your feet and take a full breath here, lifting your sitting bones, rooting down to your fingertips. At the end of your exhale, lightly step your left foot just inside of your left hand, lowering your right knee, untuck the toes. Your legs hips width apart, root down to the four corners of your left foot. Feel that stability as you circle your arms wide, like the full moon. The palms meet overhead in Anjaneyasana. Shoulders soft, heart buoyant. Take another inhalation. And as you exhale, lower your hands on your blocks or your mat at the top of the mats and step your right foot forward to fold. Circle your arms and inhale, rise up, interlacing your fingers except your index. This time to your right, exhale, side bend. Inhale, rise to center. To your left, exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, join the hands and bow with knees very bent so that you can land in a forward fold with belly resting on thighs. Inhale, knees, reach your arms forward, belly resting on thighs. Exhale, lower your hands, step right knee back, untuck your right toes. Root down to your left foot. Circle your arms like the moon as you breathe in to rise, palms touch, gazing up. Pause a full cycle of breath. Take another inhale. Exhale, your two hands flat to the ground. Step into a modified plank, hands and knees on the floor. Pause here for one inhalation, lengthening from crown to tailbone. Slide your feet together and exhale, lower into child's pose. Pelvis sinks down to your feet, forehead towards earth. Take a deep breath here. Separating your shins, hips distance parallel. Circle your arms and rise to stand on your knees. Palms touching overhead. Pause, take a full cycle of breath. On your next exhalation, lower back to child's pose. Feet together, knees apart, slither your arms forward, bowing towards the earth. Full breath. On your next inhale, come forward onto that modified plank, hands, knees. Pause here and feel length, tailbone back, lower belly in, heart forward. Tucking your toes, lift your hips, draw your sitting bones back, downward facing dog. Deep breath. At the end of your next exhalation, lightly step your right foot forward inside of your right hand. Set your back knee down, untuck the toes, root down to your right foot, circle your arms like the moon, palms touch, Anjaneyasana. One more deep breath. Lower your hands at the top of your mat, tuck your back toes, and exhale, step your left foot forward to fold. Press down to your feet. Inhale, circle your arms to rise all the way up, palms meet overhead. This time, trace your thumbs from your crown, third eye center, throat center, heart center, solar plexus, sacral center, and root. Arms down by your sides. Start to face the wide width of your mat. Take a wide stance, coming into a wide-legged squat. So from your hips, rotate your thighs both externally and pivot your feet so that the middle of your kneecaps point in the same direction as your middle toes, no matter the turnout. And then as you bend your knees, see how much space you need between your feet so that you're not over bending your knees past your ankles, but they land just above your ankles. You might rock a little side to side to warm up. Slightly lift your frontal hip bone so the belly is working here to elongate the lower back. Draw the sitting bones down, the tailbone down. Try to keep the pelvis sort of upright. And then press into your inner thighs and maybe sink the hips a little lower. And mindful of your knees. And then bend your elbows wide, palms face up. Perhaps bring thumb, first finger to touch. Feel the length of your spine as we breathe here about 5 cycles in this moon or goddess pose. Inhaling. And exhaling. So while the sun is considered a masculine energy and the moon is considered a feminine energy, that play of yin and yang. Bringing a sense of self-nurturing in this practice. One more deep breath. And then straightening your legs, parallel your feet, and let's heel toe them close enough together to come down to sit. So extending your left leg forward as I mirror you. Either step your right foot just in front of the hip. You can take your spinal twist like this, or go further and set the foot outside of your left knee, right foot flat on the floor, or go further and also bend your left knee, just as long as your 2 sitting bones are equally weighted. You can sit up tall easily. Back stroke your right hand behind your pelvis, raise your left arm up, and then press into the ground with every part of your body touching the ground so that you can breathe in and rise to your crown. Open your chest and throat. Now, as you exhale, incrementally twist to your right. Lower your left hand either to hold your right shin or perhaps gradually hook your left elbow outside your right thigh, just as long as that does not infringe on the space in your neck and shoulders. And if it feels okay on your neck, if you're not already doing it, maybe look over your right shoulder. You trace your awareness from the base of your spine throughout each vertebra, your neck, to your skull, through the crown of your head. Let's take one more deep breath here. Now, as you breathe out, unwind your spine, but keep the cross of your legs. You might decide to keep your left leg straight ahead as we hug the thighs closer together into cow face pose. So if it feels like you're tilting over to one side, adjust by straightening the bottom leg. Now, you might want to use a strap if you have any tightness in your shoulder area, or at least to start with. So with your right leg on top, hold your strap from your left hand so it's hanging behind you. Rotate your left outer upper arm forward, bend your elbow behind your skull, and drop your left hand between your shoulder blades. Reach your right hand underneath, grab the other end of the strap, and then walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp and you could let go of the strap. No better or worse, just simply what is and how you're responding to what is. As you root down through the left and right sides of your pelvis, lift through the center of your torso. Lift your chin a natural space away from your chest and glide it slightly towards the back of your throat. Release your shoulder heads down as you sit taller, and then begin to hinge forward from your hips while firming your belly towards your spine. As you're bowing forward, breath by breath, feel the counterbalancing support of your two sitting bones firming into the ground. Let's take 2 more breaths here in Gomukhasana. With your next inhale, lead with your chest, slowly rise up. As you release your arms and legs, give them any movement they want to make before we switch sides, or anything else that wants to move. Maybe even sound, ha la la la. And then let's switch legs for the twists. Either step your left foot in front of the hip, or cross it outside of your right knee, firm the left foot down, or also bend your right knee. And then backstroke your left hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Raise your right arm up, ground to sit up taller as you breathe in. Then exhale, twist to your left side. Lowering your right arm, whether you hold your shin or you eventually hook your right elbow outside of your left thigh. Now trace tension up and down your spine, all to your crown, all the way down to your tailbone. And observe how different parts of your body are facilitating even more space throughout your spine and crown. How the shoulders are helping, how the belly is helping, how the rootedness of your legs are helping. Perhaps you're looking past your left shoulder. Being in our bodies, being with what's present in our bodies, what's moving through our bodies energetically. On your next breath out, gently unwind your spine. Keep the cross of your legs, and whether you choose to straighten your bottom leg forward or splay your feet apart, let's come into cow face pose. Grab the strap with your right hand if you're using it. Dangle the tail behind your back, and then rotate your tricep forward, bending the elbow behind your skull. As your right palm lands between your shoulder blades, reach your left hand behind you underneath to grab the other end of the strap. Walking your hand. Perhaps your fingers even clasp. Press downward to your two sitting bones, lift upward to your heart and your. As you stay relaxed, begin to bow forward from your hips, pressing your belly towards your back. Feel your in-breath, slow and steady as your out-breath. Inviting space as you take breath in or as you allow breath in. And inviting release, purification as you release your breath. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Start from your chest to rise on your next inhalation. Releasing your arms and legs with any movement of your body. So sitting here, any way that's comfortable for you to be, right? Press your hands onto your lap. Just start to circle your head very slowly, very gently. Feel into the muscles in your face as you do this. And once you've circled at least once in one direction, switch directions. If you've been sitting cross-legged and your knees are fine with it, I invite you to come into sitting on your shins or on a prop between your ankles in hero's pose. Just to offer a gentle stretch into the fronts of your thighs as we work a little bit more onto the shoulders. So if you have your shins on the floor like this, make sure that your knees are not splaying wider than hips distance. Remember, it can help to sit on your folded blanket in between your glutes and your heels, or oh, that's very comfortable. Or a block between your ankles. And then bend your elbows apart like a cactus. Cross your right elbow over the left. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms together, sliding your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Lift up through the back of your skull, lift up to your chest. Lift your elbows just to the height of your shoulders. And gently press your forearms forward, offering more space across your upper back. Now breathe into that area. your back ribs. Inhales, full exhales. On your next inhalation, lift your elbows a little higher than your shoulders. And as you breathe out, slowly backstroke both of your arms to switch the cross of your elbows. Hooking your thumbs or wrapping your forearms and palms. Walk your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Float up through the crown of your head, lengthening your spine. Align your elbows to the height of your shoulders and softly press your forearms forward. Breathing space into the area right between your shoulder blades, an area that's common to hold tension in. Actually, the heart energy center. Perhaps imagine each inhalation and exhalation like a wave of energy flowing into and out of your heart energy center. It's from the center of your chest and the center of your upper back, both front and back. The color of that energy center, or the color associated with it, is emerald green. On your next inhale, lift your elbows a little higher than your shoulders. And as you breathe out, backstroke your arms apart. And let's circle the shoulders forward and up as you inhale. Back and down as you exhale twice more. Maybe even a big sigh, ha, or any vocalization. Ah. I recently took a training on movement and sound and the importance of just letting energy flow through us through organic sound. So you might be hearing more of that weird stuff. So come on to sit. Now, take your choice. We're going to go a little further into opening the hips with either of these two postures. Bound ankle pose, despite the softer version, where you bring your feet away from your pelvis, and then you use as many props as you need, pillows, blocks, blankets, to rest your forehead on, where you're not rounding the back or closing your throat, but you're gently allowing more of a long spine, but effortlessly because you're supported by your props. Now, the second posture, if you want to go a little deeper into the hips, is frog pose. You start on your hands and knees, facing the mat wide width, and then you splay out your inner thighs and turn out your feet. So you're mindful that the center of your knees are in line with your center toes, and you create 90-degree bends at your knees so that your hips are aligned with your knees and your knees are aligned with your ankles. And then from here, you could place props underneath your forearms, underneath your hands, like blocks maybe even a blanket for your forehead if you like. And you just allow gravity and your weight to just gently open your inner thighs apart. Now I'm gonna set the timer for 2 more minutes, whatever posture that you're in. So settle into the support of your props in the ground, and maybe even close your eyes, directing your breath in to the areas that might be asking more of your nurturing right now, of your listening. Areas that might be gripping, perhaps there's fear resting in areas of the body. Areas that might be tensing, holding anxiety or nervousness. Let your inhalations be a kind attentiveness, any part of your body wanting your recognition. But as you breathe out, don't breathe it away, but simply be in it. Let your exhalation loosen any gripping or tendency to flee any space of discomfort. Of course, mindful that it's not injurious discomfort or pain, just discomfort. So we bring Pema Chodron's mindfulness practice of compassionate abiding. Honor parts of ourselves that might feel vulnerable. To be accepted with our own empathy. Wow, 2 minutes went by kind of fast. Take your time coming out of this posture. If you're in frog, take your face the same direction and come into child's pose, sliding your feet eventually together and sitting back onto your heels. If you are bowing in bound angle pose, use the support of your hands to press the ground and slowly roll your spine upright. You can extend your legs apart, just gently shake them out if needed. So we're going to continue to sit another moment, extending both legs in front, but separating your feet a little wider than hips distance. We're going to come into a passive version of a forward fold, Paschimottanasana. So again, using your props, you might want to have your pillow between your legs, so your legs are sort of a V shape, blanket, maybe a block just for your forehead so your nose can breathe. And then ground your sitting bones. You might even hold down your pelvis with your hands as you lengthen your spine so that you're mindful not to round the back or to round the shoulders. And then rest your forehead on something as you fold. Perhaps turn your palms to face up and let your shoulders relax. So it's okay to round a little bit, just more of a natural rounding. Try to keep your throat open, your neck spacious, and your shoulders relaxed. Again, we'll be here for 2 minutes. the support of your hands pressing the ground. Tuck your chin to your chest, and inhale to slowly roll your spine upright. So let's set up for Shavasana comfortably as possible. If you've got any tension in your lower back, or you just want to offer it some more support, you could cross your mat with your long pillow or rolled up blanket and land the backs of your knees on that so that you support a light bend in your knees. You can let your feet splay apart, wider than hips distance. Now, if you want a little bit of an opening in the chest to help release the fronts of the shoulders a bit more, if you have a cylindrical other pillow, or you could use 2 blocks, one behind your head, one underneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Otherwise, I'm rolling up this blanket into a thin cylinder and crossing the mat with it so that as I lie back with the pelvis on the ground, that cylinder is going to trace the area just below my shoulder blades, and then I could cactus bend my elbows apart so the backs of my hands are on the ground. So whatever way that you're supporting your body, feel into any way might need to be adjusted before you settle in so that you can fully relax in this pose. Your body feels balanced on both sides. Open space at your throat, your neck, the rest of your spine. Feel the weight of your feet, the weight of your skull, the weight of your shoulders and pelvis. And then once you've found that position you could truly rest in, take a slow inhalation. Fill up everything you can as though you could breathe into all ends of your body, even your fingertips. Hold the breath in for a few seconds, and then slowly through your lips, ease your breath out. And then from there, just breathe naturally. Allow your body, allow yourself to feel free in this stillness. we're about to begin our 10 minutes, perhaps a little less, guided meditation. Either choose to stay lying down or begin to move your body and gradually rise to sit comfortably. Position your body in a way that you can feel alert while being relaxed. Allowing your breath to still flow naturally. Whether you choose to close your eyes, there will be some visualization in this meditation, or steady a soft gaze on something that just right in front of you. Allow this moment to just observe how your body feels as an effect of your physical yoga practice. Now I invite you to visualize a full moon, a bright, beautiful full moon, glistening above the crown of your head. As you inhale, receive the moon's wisdom down into the base of your heart space. And as you exhale, offer your awareness back up your central channel to the imagined moon. Inhale from the moon to your heart. Exhale from your heart to the center of your body, to the full moon. Breathing naturally. Feeling the nurturing, comforting, accepting yin energy of the moon. Feel yourself settle into a quiet state. And let's enter that idea of Purnata, all encompassing fullness or divine perfection, as the object of your meditation. Imagine yourself like the moon, always full, but with both light and shadows. Notice any quality, emotion, perhaps even a self-judgment or a limiting belief that may sit in your own shadows. What would it feel like to accept this part of you? What would it feel like to be free from self-judgment? To accept your pure goodness with all your human imperfections. To let go of perhaps resentment and forgive. To take a deep breath of true confidence. Notice whatever the quality is in you that may want to be reaffirmed. I invite you to entertain, just for a few last minutes, how it would feel to fully embrace your light and shadows, remembering you are perfectly imperfect. As you feel your physical body resting on what's supporting it, you're going to move your fingers, gently slide your palm at your heart center, perhaps bowing in acknowledgement of your wholeness, of our wholeness. It's close to chant one Om. Take a deep breath in. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.